All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm KJ Zelzinski, bringing you everything sports, everything Buffalo. I'm joined with a lot of people here. You know all these familiar faces. You love them. I got Justin Cejak right next to me, Sean Francois, Hunter Lover Cummins, Colton Pankowitz. How we doing, everybody?
Chilling, my guy. How we doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's a hot day today. I will say that.
Very warm up and
my
buff.
Polish jeans are not built for it. So. Oh, well. But thank you guys for joining us. If you do like what you see, just make sure to follow our social medias. Check out our website at buffalosportsinsider.com. That way you too can stay up to date on everything sports, everything Buffalo. So remember that we are always looking for questions from you guys in the chat as well, wherever you're watching, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You throw it in the chat. We will probably see it and answer it on the show. So thank you very much. We do want to open today, though. There have been multiple reports that former Bills wide receiver Mike Williams tragically passed away on a construction site. Just crazy news, just really, really sad news. But I mean, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you can talk a little bit about Mike Williams while he was here and kind of what he did for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool that he's a Buffalo native. He's a guy that went to Syracuse, so a local guy, and he comes to the big leagues, spends the first few years with the Bucs, but eventually ends up with the hometown Bills. And me and Hunter were talking about it earlier, but he had that notable play in 2014. E.J. Manuel throws it long to Mike Williams. He gets in the end zone. That was an exciting moment for me as a young kid.
His one and only touchdown. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was going to say that. I believe that was from E.J. Manuel in Houston. So I do remember that, and I believe he was a Riverside High School product for here in Buffalo. So just absolutely tragic news. I believe I heard the news from the family. So just really unfortunate to come across yesterday.
Yeah, and just again, like to dust these players off the shelf and everything, and just take a look back at kind of how far we've come since then. Just condolences from Buffalo Sports Insider, obviously, to the the Williams family and all that. But we also did want to cover some of the other news recently from the Buffalo Bills about these starting positions. Surprisingly, let's talk about the first thing on our list. Christian Benford takes the cornerback 2 spot.
No surprise.
No surprise. Okay. All right. Well, walk me through that. Why no surprise?
Last week of preseason, Jackson and Elam are playing in the third quarter. That's a telltale sign.
Yes.
And I thought Benford outplayed them by a lot. Like, I remember we talked about Benford's here and Jackson and Elam are both together down a bit. I didn't see the depth chart. Do you know who was 3 and 4?
They're both equally listed as backups.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. But I thought that was the right move defensively. Someone probably that played the smartest ball in preseason, and they get paid for it.
Don't forget either that Benford was one of the many names on the list last year that was injured. So having to go out kind of that early in your rookie season, and now you have so much more to prove, and it's like you had all these great flashes from last season. It's like, okay, well, now it's time to lay it out on the field.
Yeah, I thought he really locked down that cornerback 2 job in the Bears game. I mean, this guy, he was on DJ Moore, and he made a great pass break. He actually had 2 pass breakups that game. And he's also a sure tackler, and we know that McDermott values that a lot when it comes to the cornerbacks. It just goes to show you that the NFL will find good talent no matter where you play college ball. I mean, look at Taron Johnson, Weber State, and then this is Villanova. That's a basketball school, but we still found Christian Benford there in the 6th round, and he ends up being a starter for us 2 years later.
That's true. Also, Osiris Torrance, Cybo, taking the right guard spot.
We like seeing the young guy take
machine.
that.
What do we think about that?
Happy to see that. I think it's going to be an opportunity for the Bills to start building foundation on their O-line because they have needed that one thing that really just sets them straight when it's on the team. And I think right now it needs to be the O-line that builds up their prominence on that team.
Yeah. I was going to say did not allow a sack with both the Raging Cajuns and the Gators. If I want someone protecting me, that's the first name I might call. So I'm really excited to see. Many thought first-round talent. Bills get him in the 2nd round. So what a steal, and hopefully it translates to some great protection on the field.
I'm fired up. I'm playing offensive line back in the day, and now it seems like a lot to go along with McGovern. They get Torrance in the 2nd, who we, like Hunter said, we thought we were going to get the 1st. A guy that can protect the quarterback, a franchise quarterback, one of the best ones, Josh Allen. There's not many stats besides the lack of sacks to back it up, but you can't go wrong. That's a good thing. You don't hear much about it.
Exactly. And such a young O-line too. Obviously with Ike Bucker being gone and Dave Questenberry being gone now, and bringing in Alec Anderson and Vandermark. Like, this is really young O-line.
That's the
How do
thing.
you feel about that?
That's well. The thing I want to go back to all hiring real quick is the Bills have had instability at the guard position for maybe close to 10 years now. What's the
Yeah.
last
Yes.
good steady guard you guys can think for the Bills?
I couldn't name
Maybe
him.
Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
But then even before that, it's Andy Levitri. You have to go back to 2013 for that.
Jeez.
So you bring in this young guy, Torrance, and he already looks like a stud, to be quite honest. He wins that job. And you bring in Connor McGovern, who's also young, who also has his best football ahead of him. And not only that, that allows you to have some positional flexibility. So maybe Ryan Bates moves up, like we mentioned last week, that backup right tackle position, which I think he's fully capable of.
And the last big name that we want to talk about on the list, Terrell Bernard.
gets me
Colton
fired up,
called it.
No, I remember talking about this. And
Yeah.
it's got nothing to do with Bernard himself. It's just a lack of positive play shown in the
Yes.
preseason by Doc. I mean, you see Klein getting big time reps
Mhm.
late in the preseason, and it's like, what are they looking for? And
Who also
I
isn't
didn't,
here
I
anymore.
didn't, right, exactly. I didn't know that Bernard was going to be healthy for week 1, but basically, like, we find out he's healthy, and then, oh yeah, he's a starter right out of that. So it almost felt like it was his job to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was mentioned in today's press conference. A lot of the Bills press media members were kind of saying it's almost like Tyrell Dodson played himself out of the position.
Yeah.
Honestly,
rather than
that's
Bernard
honestly
playing
really
his
good.
way into
It looked like it.
the position. So yeah, I mean, it was brutal. You see that play to DJ Moore last week against the Bears. I mean, he's right there and he misses the tackle. He didn't even touch the guy. So that just tells a lot to me. Bernard he's an active blitzer at Baylor. There's not much game tape from him last year. Like I said, he had that strip sacks in preseason against the Colts, but relatively, it's a young guy. And the fun thing about these 3 new starters is they're all young. So there's a lot of projection to be done there and a lot to watch out for the season.
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, we will be coming back to Bills later as we're doing like a season overview and all of that great stuff. So stay tuned for that. We're going to move into some Sabres news recently. Not anything really to do with the team, no moves, no big stuff. But they are limiting their ticket sales based on zip code now. And I think that's kind of really interesting because we did see other teams doing that, like the Panthers last season. I mean, they did that in their
2023 playoff series, yeah.
Yes, but I can't remember against who.
It was against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It was against the Maple Leafs. Thank you.
The same reason that we're doing this right now.
It's just Leafs fans. Just
Yes,
get Leafs
the
fans
thing with
out.
the
You know,
Leafs
it's-
fans is that they're just very close. So being able
Yes.
to come to the U.S. and have the time in Buffalo, you get to go to stores that you probably don't have in Canada. You eat food that you don't have. So they're really just coming to the U.S. just to get more of an experience that they're not having in Canada.
Yeah.
So I see that being more of a reason why they're buying the tickets to come to the games,
Well,
less than it being they want to come in and stop fans that are in the area from going to the games.
I think it's more so just how much cheaper it is.
Yep.
Yes.
Than Toronto. I mean, you look at ticket prices and it's a $150 difference. And it could be a Thursday night in Buffalo versus, we'll go with Sunday or prime Friday night hockey versus a Thursday night in Toronto, and it's going to be $200 more in Toronto.
I was going to say, to show the evidence at that point, I just bought a ticket to the December 21st Leafs at Sabres game, $57.
Yeah.
No chance you're going to find that up
No.
north.
No,
I was-
no.
So
Yeah.
Now,
So-
let me ask this though: do you think it's going to change anything? Because aside from teams like the Penguins, Flyers, whoever else is in the area,
Bruins and
It's-
Canadian fans.
exactly. It's mainly targeted at Canadians and Leafs fans. But with season ticket holders, I hear a lot about people just sell their season tickets to Southern Ontario. So is it really going to fix anything?
I don't think it is
Thanks.
because we saw that they tried, like we said, with the Panthers series. It actually made the Toronto fans more eager to want to go down and fly and support their team. So it's like you tell people not to do something, that's going to make them want to do it more. So I don't think it's going to help at all. It's probably just a publicity thing. If they saw what happened with the Panthers, they're probably trying to get more people to notice, like, hey, we want you to come to our games. So I see it more as a publicity than trying to make awareness for it.
You also have the secondary market too: TickPick, StubHub, Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, which are still all available. Those companies aren't going to block zip code based information, so something to keep in mind as well.
I think the most interesting part for me when I saw it, because I spoke to Ron Rakulia in the spring. He actually came to sports journalism, my sports journalism class, and he talked about how with the new Bills Stadium that's going to be like a season ticket possibility to where it's going to be blocked off by zip code, so you don't have scalpers coming to make a lot of money on it. And I know that PSE split, but I wonder how much of a philosophy that was intertwined between the two, because you're now seeing that with the Sabres, and it's supposed to happen with the Bills in stadium. So
Right.
it's a little bit of a tweak there for me. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. really interesting to kind of see how that evolves. But we do want to get into as well. Really excited to finally, talk about something that is relevant to our kind of level here.
Mhm.
Collegiate football.
Yeah.
UB just had their first game of the season,
And Buff State.
but we'll put Buff State
I
to
mean,
the
let's
side.
be honest. Both teams lost, so we can't try and treat one like they're
Yeah,
different
well,
from the other.
Let's table it for now. UB versus the ranked Wisconsin, who I think was number 19 ranked.
Yeah, 19.
So talk to me about kind of how that game went, because honestly there were positives, but then there were really big negatives.
I mean, clearly, I mean, not a lot of whole people thought that UB was going to keep it that close, but they actually did for the first half. It was generally close. Were they in that first half at 14-10?
Yes,
I believe so.
correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that second half, it's very evident that the talent was different, and the Bulls could just not stop that run game
At all.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
had
Braylon Allen
300.
comes in already a Heisman candidate, but they got this other guy. Number one was like Malusi or something. He's ripping us up too, and it was just very evident the Bulls' run defense wasn't there, and it's going to need improvement against Florida next week.
I will say it should be noted the Bulls received $1.3 million from the Badgers for playing the game. I mean,
That's true.
not too bad of a consolation prize with the L. And they also did actually cover the spread for those interested in such a topic. It was Wisconsin minus 29, 21-point loss, so you can take that away. But of course, next up, the Florida Rams out of the FCS.
And to speak a little more on that Bulls defense, they did have 2 interceptions. We had one from Sean Dolak, and we had another one from the sophomore safety and Devin Grant.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were 2 things that I was happy to see, because Dolak's been there for a while. I think this is his senior year now, so he has a little chip on his shoulder that he wants to take this defense to another level.
That gets me fired up though, because he was a walk-on. He went to
Walk-on.
West Seneca East. I remember when I played in high school, he played. And he was really good, but everyone tries to walk on somewhere, and he actually pulls a starting job. I think he's on scholarship.
He was all MAC defensive team.
Yeah,
last year.
exactly.
Yeah, he led in tackles, I believe, and he was ranked
97
second.
solo tackles, school record for you.
Yeah, and he was
Wow.
ranked second in the nation.
Okay.
Off the
Yeah,
top
that's
of
not
the
too
hat.
bad.
Off the top of the hat. That was awesome.
Yeah. And there was, like I said, there were good parts, bad parts of the game as well. Cole Snyder, their QB, did throw for 3,000 last season.
Yeah.
Did pretty decently. I mean, again, he had a 63% completion rate. A couple of tutties, 194 yards. Not too bad. But you go back and look at the tape, a lot of the incompletions were throwaways. I think the O-line did struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
All that being said, not terrible. The running back room wasn't bad either. You had Ron Cook Jr. and Mike Washington both going for about 52-ish yards, both 12 carries. Did their job for the most part. And even Cole Harity, a couple touchdowns, 47 yards, 5 catches.
And something about last name Cook at the running back position in Buffalo, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Now, when you ask
Strong
and you
dude.
say that they did their job for the most part, what exactly do you mean by the most part? Because I would say the most part is getting into the end zone. No,
that is true. Exactly. I mean, again, you have to define like what is their job. And Cole Harity did that. Cole Harity got into the end zone a couple times, but again, the running backs did both struggle a little bit, and I think again that's something that we can look forward to for them, and that is going to be coming up this week Saturday as well. Hopefully, we'll be there to cover it. If not, you'll see some of our insiders there to talk about it a little bit more. So let's move into this Bison's conversation as well. I'm going to let you take the floor, Hunter, because this is your realm. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, the Bisons are playing red-hot baseball. 8 straight wins, their longest streak of the season. Have a chance to continue it tonight at 6:05 versus Lehigh Valley. The meat and potatoes of that is that they've swept the Indianapolis Indians, 6 straight against them in the last series. Last night, they keep the Great Times rolling 12-4, tripling the score of the opponent in a win versus Lehigh Valley. You had Stevie Bernard with a grand slam.
Really?
So Stevie Berman, excuse me, among some other great RBI opportunities last night. And so standings-wise, they're a game back of Durham, who did beat Charlotte, unfortunately, for the Bison's case last night. So that's going to be a battle for that last playoff spot. As a quick reminder, you have the IL splits the season in 2 halves. Norfolk, the Orioles affiliate, took the first half, so they host the playoff series versus whoever takes the second half, which the Bisons are in the running to grab. So they'll really have to continue this play versus Lehigh Valley, who's that team that they're actually neck and neck with, and then both chasing Durham. So we'll see what continues with them. And then a quick segment as well. You have the Jays, the parent club, of course, bringing up 3 former Bisons who they're calling the Buffalo Brigade. In fact,
I like that. I like that.
Sportsnet the Canadian media outlet put a post out like that. with that titling. It's Spencer Horwitz, Ernie Clement, Rochester native, noted Bills fan, actually talked about the Bills on a post-game interview with the Jays, which is pretty neat. And Davis Schneider, who's been raking.
Yes.
So we'll see how that continues. But, yeah, great times down there in Salem Field. If you got some free time, get out to a game.
Yeah,
The Buffalo Brigade. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm saying that's a scary name. If I'm somebody playing Tampa, I think I'd be a little bit scared. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much. We will go to a quick commercial, but when we come back, it'll be more Bills stuff to talk about. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Now stay tuned for a commercial from our partners at AAA.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Take another look at some Bills superlatives. I'm excited for this segment because I think you got some interesting names we can throw in the conversation. One we can breeze over really quickly. How does everybody feel about team MVP?
Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen.
I think it's pretty solidly Josh Allen. You state your case.
Okay, so I said it earlier in the season. Well, not in the season. In our shows, I want it to be Stephon Diggs to be the team MVP because my term is I want him to hoop. I want him to ball out this year. I need to see 20 touchdowns, 15 to 1,600. Yeah. I want to see 20 touchdowns, 15 to 1,600 yards. All right, so let's hear it out. All right, so he had around 11, 12 touchdowns last season. Why can't he get 8 more? If the problem was that he felt he was exactly. So now if the problem was that he wasn't getting the ball enough last season and that he wasn't happy, why can't we see 20 more touchdowns if he's going to be more happy on the team?
Well, we don't know.
There's only one rock.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one rock.
And I understand that. Make him the guy.
Yeah, but you bring along Kincaid in the first round. Who's going to fill in that slot? Gabe Davis had a really poor year last year. It came out that he was dealing with an ankle injury, which will obviously distort your explosiveness. So I expect more out of Gabe Davis and more out of Kincaid. It's not that I don't expect more out of Diggs. It's just there's only one football. And
Dawson Knox isn't going away.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And Dawson Knox in the red zone is going to be.
I mentioned James Cook's a better pass catching back than Devin.
So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And then when Josh Allen, I mean, it doesn't matter who's running the football. He's always going to get a chance in the red zone.
Exactly.
And
He's
it's
built
just-
our quarterback,
exactly.
so I know you can't take that away from him.
So that's why I don't see 20 touchdowns happening.
Yeah, so I would also let's it's almost unanimously Josh Allen. So
Okay.
let's talk about like the unsung hero of the season. I'll start because I think a big name back in our secondary is Trey White, and I think he might be again like someone who's going to provide so much for us this season.
Yeah.
And maybe that doesn't show up on a lot of the
Statistics.
Statistics, yeah. Like it doesn't show up there, but it makes such a big impact on the field. So I want to say Trey White. I think he's going to really step.
Do you have an offensive unsung hero?
Ooh, well now that one. Come back to me. I'll think about it a little bit.
I think I've got 2 unsung heroes. I've got one for you. On defense, it's a guy that really, really should get more recognition, but he doesn't, and it's DaQuan Jones. I mean, I'm the known DaQuan Jones stands on the show. I mean, he'll just open up so much more when he's healthy, and when he's playing at his best, he is a top 3 one-tech in the NFL. And especially with Ed Oliver being placed in a more natural position now, he's going to be freed up with more one-on-one rushes, which will take more off of Greg Rousseau, which will take more off of Von Miller. So it'll just open up the pass rushing situation. And as far as the offensive unsung hero, I'm going to go with Connor McGovern on the left side of the offensive line, because if you have good guard play and good guard stability like we might this season for the first time in a decade, that opens up another facet of your offensive game plan, which may allow the run game to actually take off, which has been a complaint for many of the media about the Bills.
100%.
Top 3 one tech.
Yeah, I saw his face when you said that.
Dude, he's like
He's good.
your ideal one tech, but I think there's a few guys ahead of him. Although my unsung heroes on defense, I like Trey, but since I'm going to go someone different, Benford. I feel like they were so porous last year at the cornerback position, at cornerback 1 and 2.
Yes.
And if they can just improve that cornerback 2 play and Benford can hold the job,
Exactly.
I think that's huge. Especially, I mean, they have a lot. I talked previously, a lot of good wide receiver ones they go against, a lot of good wide receiver too. Alan Lazard, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith,
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Watt. I mean, they play twice
Come on.
a year.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to take a lot from anyone, in the defensive back. But
Yeah.
Christian Benford is probably mine. And then offensively, I'm gonna go to the other side, and I'm gonna go Osiris Torrance.
Yes.
I think you're just not going to hear a lot of them unless you follow Cover One, who does a great job of showing the unsung heroes. And I just think he's going to help James Cook in the run game, go to the strong side, and B, protect the franchise. Josh
Absolutely.
Allen.
Yeah.
No, for me, I like to stick, which seems to be a common theme here in the secondary, Taron Johnson for myself.
TJ.
Because if you want a guy making clutch plays, two come off right off the bat. Last season in Kansas City to win the game essentially for the Bills against the Chiefs, picking up Pat Mahomes, and then of course everyone's favorite, the long interception touchdown run versus Baltimore.
I get chills when I ever say that play. I don't know about you. I get chills.
I think
It's crazy.
that's a pretty valid way to describe it. But also, I was wondering too, he's got to be up there for one of the longest tenured members of the secondary. Probably top 5 at least. I mean, Poyer, Hyde, White would be your other choices. But so I would definitely take number 7 there, TJ out of Weber State. And like you had mentioned before, Weber State, Villanova, doesn't matter what school you go to. If you can prove yourself, you're in it. And then I'm still kind of considering on the offensive side of the ball, so I'll turn the table over to Sean here. But focal point for me, Taron Johnson.
So for my unsung hero on the defensive side, I'm pretty sure you guys know it's going to be Puna Ford.
Puna.
Yeah, I want Puna to make sure that he is having a spot on this team and that we can also use him as one of those big guys that we stuff the defensive line with and we stop anybody on 4th and 1 or if they're trying to get some goal line rushes. I want Puna Ford to be that guy that we get in the middle and actually have him be a focal point on our defensive line.
Absolutely.
So
And
speaking
depth
on
is important too.
that's another thing I was going to say. Speaking on that, I want to make sure that we have a lot of depth. And on the offensive side,
That defensive line rotation is going to be insane.
Oh.
I mean, we haven't even mentioned
It's gotta
Jordan
be
Phillips.
Top
Mhm.
3 in the league, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tim Settle as well.
Maybe not top end
Yes.
talent, but depth.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
I don't know that you could top that really, but
I appreciate the Tim Settle shout out too. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think again with him being injured last season, we didn't really get to see Tim Settle full power, and now we do. So I'm very
Well,
excited for
that was like speaking a little bit on that defensive line, on who has the deepest defensive line. People try and say that the Jets might be like another
Oh,
team
yeah,
that
they
you
got
combat with.
They're
So
deep there.
it's going to be a lot of fun seeing that
Dolphins,
first game of the
too.
season.
Mhm.
Dolphins,
Who's
Wilkins.
opposite? Wilkins don't rush the passion. Yeah, Phillips. Who's opposite Phillips?
Chubb. I mean, if you're going pass rusher,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
you can't. I get that's a good pass rusher, but I do like Buffalo in terms of depth. I don't know that you can really tell
Philly.
that.
And then to come back, so we stay back on focus.
49ers. Yeah.
We go back a little bit. I think on offense, I would have it to be Deion Dawkins as my offensive unsung hero. Like I want him
That's
to be the
cool.
guy to lead the offensive line and say, let's go out there. We need 5 of us to play as one. Because just like Colton, I too have played on the offensive line, so I know how it is.
Right.
And to be a tackle at that position and you're leading the offensive line, that's just someone that everyone will listen to.
I really hope he has a big year because I think Spencer Brown got a lot of the flack last year,
Yes.
but I don't
During
think
the
Deion,
preseason,
I don't think Deion Dawkins played very good football
No.
last year for the entirety of the year. It
A
wasn't
lot of up and
just
down with Dawkins.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, he's a huge personality in Buffalo. He's a great guy, and he has played great football, but it wasn't last year. So if he's the unsung hero, that's really good things for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I do want to go through our other superlatives too, which do include offensive and defensive rookies of the year. We can kind of run
Yeah, we're
off
gonna squeeze in
defensive
second.
'cause- I was about to say we can
defense.
squeeze it because Dorian Williams and then
Yeah.
Gateway, Austin, and whoever else.
Nick Broker, that was.
Nick Broker.
Yes, thank you. So, so rookie, what do we think? I think offensive rookie for me personally is between Dalton Kincaid and Cybo. I
the
think.
two-man
yeah.
race.
I was about to say it's kind of between them. I think they just bring so much power to it, and we've already talked about Osiris Torrance so much and how great he is. Dalton Kincaid with such high expectations this season. I think he's going to beat them.
I think if it would be Dalton Kincaid, it would be how open he makes the offense with having the ability to have 4 receivers out there with him acting like that 4th receiver and then maybe going 5 wide and putting James Cook out there because like Colton said, James Cook is a better receiving back. So if we do give it to Dalton Kincaid as the offensive rookie of the year, it would be because he opened up that pass game more, not the fact that Osiris Torrance wasn't really the offensive guard that we wanted him to be.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So how about that second player then? What are we thinking for how that?
Offensively, I mean, Who are you going with if it's not
These are
Kincaid?
sophomores, right? Where we're
Oh,
talking about.
you want to go defense?
You want to go defense?
Oh, you want
or-
to go defense?
No,
Or
you
is
tell
that-
me. You steer this thing.
All right. Well, I think it's got to be Bernard. Just as a signal caller in the middle of the defense, I just find it tough not to be him. I think the Bills
Big
have to
shoes to fill. though.
exactly.
Huge shoes to fill.
Well, I think that the Bills are willing to have Bernard make mistakes because Edmonds made a lot of mistakes. That was the one knack on him, that he's going to make plays and make you say, wow.
Right.
And then he's going to have plays that make you
Big
say,
spectrum. Yeah.
wow. So I think it's a similar thing with Bernard, but it's more inexperience. Whereas Edmonds had that experience and he was still making, mistakes that you don't usually see out of a third-year player. So I think if he just has an above average year for the Bills, that would be huge. And I think that an above average year or above average, performance at that position would mean a lot to a team that's a possible.
What does an
Super Bowl
above
team.
average year look like for you, though?
I don't think it's so much a stat line. I just think it's not huge mistakes.
Playing the
defensively.
responsibility.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially
So
in-
more
in
of a
pass.
performance and work ethic kind of thing is what you want to see.
Well, I think it's just you can't
Not
have,
being a liability.
right. You can't stand still in the middle of the field. You
Yeah.
can't be on the wrong side. I think it's more position where you are on the field.
Okay.
I
Don't
think it's
don't
a lot
play
better.
yourself out of the role.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
like
So
some,
you
like some
wanna
people
see
we know. Yeah,
Better
yeah.
height in football IQ.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
All right. I also didn't want to go over the offensive and defensive MVPs of the year. Really, I don't know. This one is so open now again because we're not limited to rookies. Let's start offensive. I am going to take Deshaun's side, and I say Stephon Diggs
Yeah.
is going to be. I think again he comes back. All of this stuff, kind of news in the media. I think again there's so much motivation there for him to do great and perform against these these secondaries.
I am going Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like it's that thing where like MVP is a quarterback.
yeah.
It's a quarterback thing.
Yeah.
The offensive rookie
Let's
there is like
yeah.
the best wide receiver.
Let's say we had Kyle Allen.
I think-
who would be?
I think it's going to be a
Offensive
huge
player.
year out of
The
Gabe
offensive
Davis.
line.
I think Gabe Davis has struggled
Yes.
last year with an injury.
Comeback season.
But he's like the one-trick pony almost. When people don't give him credit for his route running abilities, and I mean he can run the whole tree.
and hands too.
And I
Yeah,
think
he is
with
solid.
Kincaid, you still have Knox there. People are forgetting about Knox. Shakir, Deontay Hardy. I feel like
Sure.
that seam route becomes a whole lot more valuable. I feel like that crossing route that he does so well.
Yeah.
And you oftentimes see him with a two-tap all on the side of it. I can see him 1,000 yards and more consistent play, though. It's not like the
I agree with
Steelers.
you.
An underrated thing with
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is he has a really good knack for coming back to the ball.
Yeah,
whenever the play
exactly.
breaks down. I mean, you see it all the time. He'll just find a way to get himself open. He knows how to play the zone. That's all it is.
Yeah,
So offer some variety. I would, that statement wouldn't apply to me saying Josh Allen as well, because by default I had him as the team MVP. So,
Right.
But for defense, it's a guy that I was really surprised was not is not going to be wearing, at least announced, a C on his chest. Matt Milano. I mean, I'm sure could be a different reason I might have missed for that, but I think he's going to be the defensive MVP. I think he's the quiet soldier, team leader. Doesn't always do it with his voice, but with his play. He lets his play to his talking, and so that would be surely my defensive MVP.
Surprise captain though was Gabe Davis.
Yes.
You got the seal
Yes.
a lot. I mean, you do have Hyde, Poyer, Josh, Diggs.
Tyler Matakevich was an interesting.
Yeah,
Special teams.
But,
yeah.
makes
You
sense.
gotta have someone on special teams.
I would say with Matt Milano, though, I think he's starting to finally slowly get that credit he deserves.
Yes, I also had that as well.
You
I
see
think
him slowly coming into the limelight, and he deserves it. I mean, this guy's all over the field. He's good against the run. He's good against the pass. But you really not too many holes in Matt Milano's game.
And again, with especially kind of in that front of the defense, you need a veteran there when you're talking about having Terrell Bernard in the starting lineup, and then I think you need somebody to command that spot, and even Terrell Bernard is there, but you have to have somebody who has that experience. And everyone knows
And
that
he's
guy.
in, like we said this about Taron Johnson. I think they actually might have been the same draft, but he's also out there longest tenure. He's been here since 2017. So I mean, that's almost 7 years now. So
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. Y'all already know my offensive MVP, so I don't have to speak on that. But for defensive MVP, I'm gonna have to go with Ed Oliver.
Puna Ford.
Ooh.
Yeah, just
No.
a run back Puna.
I couldn't go with Puna Ford. It would have to be Ed Oliver.
And all, I
because-
like that pick.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
with Puna Ford being the fifth guy that they have on the defensive line, it obviously makes sense that the defensive line guy that needs to be there is Ed Oliver. So for me, I need him to be the one that leads the defensive line. And my big thing is leading and showing that you're the leader of doing what you're doing. Because if you lead by example rather than leading by words, that's the best way to show anybody what you want done. And I think Ed Oliver can do that best, which is going to speak into Puna Ford becoming the dog I want him to be.
And big expectations for Ed too, with his re-signing and all that. There was so much talk in the offseason, or like right after the offseason, about, okay, are we giving this guy away? Like, he hasn't really, like, he's been good, but he hasn't been like as solid as we need him to be. So I think he has a lot to live up to this season. Final player I wanted to talk about for defensive MVP, Greg Rousseau, man.
Yeah.
Groot needs to be in this conversation. Again, last season, Von Miller goes down. He steps it up big time. And again, when you're kind of playing across from someone with that much, that big of a reputation, again, to perform at the level that Groot was performing at.
Well, yeah, I mean, to play into your case, he's going to have to hold it down for 4 games.
Yes.
It will be.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Leonard Floyd does take some of that off of his shoulders, but I mean, you're starting to see Groot, or Tarantula, as Von Miller called him today.
Tarantula, that's true.
You're going to start to see him blossom into a leader on this defense. I mean, he's got 2 years under his belt now, and not only 2 years, it's 2 years of good play, good solid play, and he's been on the uptrend ever since he got on.
I'd like to see that, like, his play though actually transform into numbers, like sacks, or because I believe last year when you brought up John, I think Johnson had the game against Kansas City, Rousseau had the pressure,
Yes.
and if he can do that more often, actually, affect the quarterback, or you have to get sacks against Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, and they play a lot of first-time quarterback season. I think Rousseau has to have a
Like
big
Justin
year.
said, that defense is scary. That rotation is going to be crazy. Not just
A lot of
for
fresh
them there, but
bodies.
just
A lot of fresh
everything.
bodies.
Okay, so I do want to wrap this up by talking about our season overview, and I want to open this up to you guys. Do we have any hot takes that we're thinking about the season as a whole? Because I think there's some discussions that can be had here.
Quickly kick it off. I'm going to add 6 or actually it'd be 5-1 in the division. I think they unfortunately could drop it week 1 in my prediction, but I think they would run the table the rest of the way.
I agree with that. I think the Bills are going to have a tough time in November, though. I do. They play the Bengals, the Broncos, the Jets, and the Eagles. I think they drop to the Bengals, Jets, and Eagles. I think the Jets, that game is their one loss to the division.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much talk to be had about. I think that's a good point to bring up. Do you want to bring up your point about about the board? Do you want to bring up your point about the board?
Real quickly, just to wrap
Lord.
up the show.
Yeah.
I've got James Cook going over 1,000 yards.
I think that's crazy. I think
But,
that's
hey,
crazy.
hear me out. Listen, if he doesn't go for 1,000 yards rushing, he's almost certainly getting over 1,000 yards all purpose.
See, when you say that though, that implies you have a lot of faith in this O line. Yeah,
I mean, this is the best line the Bills have had since Josh Allen.
I would agree.
And,
I would agree.
and the thing is, not only that, the guards are known run blockers. And we've seen in the preseason, James Cook is the first Bills running back we've had since maybe CJ Spiller with true, legit breakaway speed. So if he breaks off even 3 or 4 50, 60-yard runs, I know that's a lot to ask.
All right.
You're already at
What we just got to go over final record.
I was going to say final record. I'm going to say put me at 11-6.
11-6.
I think they have a tough schedule. That'll hurt them.
Justin,
I'll go 13-4.
I have 12-5. I just think that November's
I have 12-5 as well.
I have 13-4, same amount of wins as last season.
I'll
Some tough
bump it up to 12.
games down the stretch.
I like this team better than last year's team, especially with depth.
I agree. Great points to be brought up here. Don't forget, we will be live Monday on 9/11 for the first game of the season.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe it's here already. There's a game going on tomorrow. It's Chiefs Lions as well. Like, football's back, baby. I am so excited.
Is Travis playing?
Exactly. Well,
Lions.
that's another
Lions.
discussion. That's another discussion. No, but thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, we will be live next Monday to talk about the Bills season opener. Make sure you stay up to date on everything sports, everything Buffalo by following our socials, visiting us at buffalosportsinsider.com. Thank you for watching. This has been KJ, Justin, Deshaun, Hunter, Colton, bringing you everything sports, everything Buffalo. Until next week, stay safe, be good to each other. Have a great week, guys. Take care.